It's the summer of 2013, and unsuspecting Brits are flying into a crime wave in Spain.
You're constantly like, where's my bag? Is my zip open? Is my pocket open? Who's that standing behind me?
A new type of pickpocket, more brazen and cunning than ever before, armed with an array of new criminal tricks, is targeting the unwary.
The reptile is a particular sneaky pickpocket, and he will target you whilst you're having sex on the beach.
Professional dippers who know how to play the system.
You can quite happily go through the day stealing from people and nothing is going to happen to you.
And the next thing I know, they're all running off, and that was my wallet gone.
They're absolute vermin, scumbags, absolute scumbags they are.
We have exclusive access to the undercover police as they attempt to fight back. And we're with a hardy group of expats.
Rickshaw taxi!
With their own unique ways of trying to protect their fellow Brits.
Physically stop pickpockets from actually getting on a train when they're just about to put their hand in someone's bag.
And you see it all the time, and you try and stop it if you can stop it.
For Brits abroad, Spain is the most likely place in the world to be dipped. And there's a warning to Britain.
A lot of pickpockets say that they want to go to London.
With London the #1 destination for European tourists and just a short flight away, the UK's a tempting destination for the East European gangs. Barcelona, home of Gaudi and al fresco dining, draws over 1.5 million British tourists every year, many of whom are blissfully unaware that they are attracting a certain type of criminal.
The pickpockets are targeting the British tourists simply because they view them as having a great deal of money. You don't have to be rich in our country to be considered rich by these guys.
The Brits are the biggest foreign spenders in Spain, parting with over €4.5 million in the first 6 months of this year alone. Which makes them a target for some of the most unscrupulous pickpocket gangs in Europe.
So London, yeah, that's got its dippers. Paris has got plenty of pickpockets, but Barcelona at the moment, they're in the Premier League. They're the dons of the trade.
The Montjuic Park area of Barcelona, and a team of undercover police officers are on the trail of 2 known pickpockets.
We are going to check the faces of the suspects.
These are the 2 suspects in a queue of tourists. This police officer, posing as a tourist, is waiting to pounce. But he can only stop the men if he sees them attempt to dip.
When pickpockets work in pairs, one will do the dip, whilst the other one carries the goods away. This ensures they don't get caught red-handed.
The undercover police tail the 2 suspects to an outdoor cafe.
We are just right now in the bar, and we are going just next to them.
A closer look reveals the man in purple to be Lei Caravan, a known pickpocket from Romania.
You'll notice now they were sharing money right now.
The suspects move off towards the Olympic Stadium. Under Spanish law, convicted pickpockets can only receive a prison sentence if they are found to have stolen €400 or more. Any less, and the most the offenders will get is a cautionary fine.
From that position, we have the view of the 2 exits.
Now the nervous wait for the 2 pickpockets to make a move on a tourist. Lei and his accomplice move in. A hand goes into a bag, and they move away. It's just what the police have been waiting for. Lei and his friend are detained, whilst the police officer tries to explain what has happened to 2 rather confused British tourists.
It is he opened the bag.
He opened the bag?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Well, we're from England.
Can you hold that?
But this fella came over, and I thought this fella's attacking him. There's some private disagreement. I never even noticed these guys. I lost sight of it. I wasn't even looking at that.
Don't get excited, Peter. Don't get excited.
She has been arrested 15 times, and the other one 25.
The police search the men, only for Lay to offer to expose himself to the cameras. This time, the tourists escape without losing any money. Good news for them, but not necessarily for the police. All they can do now is bail the pickpockets to appear in court, where the most punishment they can expect is a statutory fine of between 100 and 300 euros.
Pickpocketing is a professional game. Like any other business, it's about risk and return. You steal 300, you get fined 100, so what?
In 2012, almost 2,000 British tourists were robbed in Barcelona. Faced with such a challenge, an unlikely group of expats have decided to take on the Dippers. Mates Danny, Mike and Pete relocated from Liverpool to Barcelona 4 years ago, and now work as rickshaw drivers on the seafront.
Welcome to our office.
You know, who doesn't like a nice, friendly pair of scousers who aren't out to rob them?
Recently, the intrepid chauffeurs have taken it upon themselves to try and protect the tourists against the Dipper gangs.
They're absolute vermin. I'm disgraced by it, like, you know what I mean? And because you're dealing with it every day.
Just one warning, really. There's lots of thieves operate on the beach, so just be careful. Always look after your bags and just keep them in front of you rather than behind.
Yep. Hey, buddy. I just thought I'd warn you. There's a lot of thieves who are operating around here, and if this is even just slightly out of sight, they could whip it really quick and they escape on a bike.
Thank you.
No problem. It could be the first day of the holiday. They get this little bit of time to go and enjoy themselves, and there's nothing worse than having that taken away from you right at the beginning.
Not surprisingly, the Dipper gangs don't appreciate the Scousers' campaign.
We on the rickshaw, we meet a lot of tourists who come through the city. We were warning the people off of the thieves as the thieves were stealing their things, and the thieves came up to us and threatened us directly and said, "This is my job, you do your job, and we'll stay out of each other's way." And that was a pretty direct threat, and it meant that there's a lot of us, sometimes we're carrying knives and things like that, so don't mess around with us.
Hola.
In response, the trio have developed more subtle methods of warning the tourists.
And if I see a guy coming up, I'll just go, "Rickshaw taxi!" And then the person turns around, sees the guy going for the bag, and at least I've warned them in my own kind of way, without going up to them and saying, "You're going to get robbed," you know? I've seen these guys since I've been here. God knows how many times I've seen them being arrested. But there's 4 guys here and there, and they're looking down onto people, and they're sussing things out.
Danny has just spotted 4 men he believes to be a gang of working pickpockets on the seafront.
We'll just follow them behind, and hopefully we'll catch something. They're actually going down to the beach now. They're looking for people who they can actually pick off, you know, who are going into the sea, who have left their bags unattended, and they've obviously spied something, so they're heading down. So I think we should actually go over and see if we can catch something. They're definitely up to something. They've gone over, they're talking to people on the rocks. They've got groups of people there on the rocks. To catch them in the act or something would be absolutely fantastic, you know. And go we are, show that to the police.
The gang realise they're being observed. A man raises his hand in recognition. But at least one group of tourists and their wallets have been saved. In Barcelona, the pickpocket will use every means possible to get at the valuables of unsuspecting British tourists.
Probably my favourite scam in the history of scamming is the midget in a bag scam.
Yeah, brilliant.
This took me by surprise about the level of ingenuity I was seeing in the mind of the thieves.
This is Miguelon, whose name means Big Miguel.
He's the key to the most ingenious theft scam ever.
Take it away, Miguelon.
The man in the bag scam involves a small person or a contortionist who is able to climb inside a tourist travel bag.
This coach is packed, full of tourists and all their valuables, which are safely in the hold.
Or so they think. Miguelon's out the bag, surrounded by tourist treasure, and his pilfering hands are hard at work.
He's back in the bag, and no one even knew he was there.
But this isn't the only cunning trick designed to part tourists from their cash. Coming up, the devious new tricks being played out on British tourists.
The mute petition is a beautiful scam.
The consul official who tries to pick up the pieces.
Keep your wits about you and get a bag with a zip.
And the dipper gangs move down the coast to the seaside resorts,
The perfect victim for the pickpockets.
where a different breed of dipper comes out to play. Over 13 million British tourists will visit Spain this year. Many blissfully unaware that Eastern European pickpocket gangs are waiting to prey on them.
Hi guys, having your bags on the beach. It's a really bad spot, this area, for pickpockets and for bag snatchers. Okay. So if you just be aware of it. Like, if you don't put your bags behind you, keep them close to you. You're very welcome. No worries. All right. Cheers. All the best. Yeah. Take care.
Basically, she's got the wallet. Yeah. So if we're going to lose it, right, she's in trouble.
You meet at least one person a day who's been robbed. I know if it's a stag do, there's normally 4 or 5 of them being robbed.
Yeah, in one night.
In one night, yeah. And they all go, I know the mates go, ha ha, he's been robbed, he's been robbed.
Only to get theirs robbed that same night. I would say that the Brits are very unprepared for the type of crime that they might see. They would never dream, I think, of how brazen and how close into people's personal space the thieves are willing to go.
We were just talking to these Spanish lads. We were pretty buried up, so I had a few drinks, and they were just talking to us. Next thing we were all like kind of dancing and that, and the next thing I know, they're all running off like so, and that was my wallet gone.
Well, being an ex-crime prevention officer, I keep it in my sock because anything to stop the buggers.
With both British tourists and local police on their guard, the pickpockets are becoming ever more inventive.
The pickpockets have to create a new tricks because it's difficult for the pickpockets if the police knows these tricks.
PC Mary of the Mossos Police has been alerted to a gang of women outside Barcelona's Sagrada Familia who are fleecing tourists with one of these new devious techniques.
Vale, las otras no están, ¿eh? ¿Os han metido entre los turistas o no lo sé?
It's called the mute petition scam.
The mute petition is a beautiful scam. It plays on our conscience and allows the pickpocket to get in close whilst he does the dip. The pretend mute will approach with the petition to raise money for the bogus charity. The victim, feeling sympathetic, will come in close to sign the petition. This will allow the pickpocket to work his magic underneath.
Outside the Sagrada Familia, cameras pick up a gang of women with purple folders asking tourists to sign a petition. With the victim suitably distracted by the petition board, you can see the pickpockets helping themselves to the contents of this woman's bag. A tug to open the zip, and then in to take the cash. PC Mary and her team close in on another gang of women at the location. Here's 2 of the gang with clipboards and petitions in their hands.
Mierda. Yes, come on, because one of these girls is she knows me.
2 of the female pickpockets approach some tourists, whilst the other 2 keep a lookout. There's a hand movement off camera. The team can't be sure, but a girl could have made a dip. The call is made to stop and search them.
Carmen, ¿has robado algo ya?
It seems that the girls have voices after all, though they're in no hurry to confess.
Esto no te voy a contestar porque no soy loca, ¿vale?
The girls are Bosnian and all under 25, which is not unusually young for their gangs.
The people who are stealing are probably between 11 and early 30s, and often it's the 3rd or 4th generation of thief who's come to Barcelona to do that.
The girls are not found with any money on them, But they have been caught with fake petitions, so they are cuffed and taken back to the station for further questioning. This year, there's been a 20% rise in the number of British tourists losing passports in Barcelona. Many due to the dipper gangs. And if you're one of these unlucky Brits, your most likely port of call is here.
Hi there.
Her Majesty's Consulate.
I lost my passport.
Okay, what's happened?
I got it stolen on, early Friday morning.
28-year-old Leanne is on the front line dealing with distressed Brits.
Hello there. I can take payment now. It's €116. It's very, very busy this morning. We've had about 10 people come through the doors. We've barely opened the door and everyone was coming in.
I'd left my bag with my girlfriend in the bar. I went to the loo. Some men distracted her.
Oh, no. You're constantly like, where's my bag? Is my zip open? Is my pocket open? Who's that standing behind me?
My bag was ripped and everything fell out on the floor.
Right.
So consequently, I've lost my passport, credit card, money.
Morris had only been in Barcelona a day before being hit by the dippers.
So I've been able to live on about €10 a day.
Oh, goodness. Just enough to eat.
Losing your cash and belongings to a thief is bad enough. But to get yourself home, you've got to shell out for an emergency travel document costing €116. And if you haven't got enough money, it means phoning a friend.
But I just thought I'd let you know now that if the lady asks for €50, it's OK with you, you know.
It's a very sort of typical Brit. You don't want to bother anyone. You don't want to over-inconvenience anyone. It's like, oh, do you want to see if your friend wants to pay for the whole document, €116? No. I don't want them to pay any more than what they have to. Very British, I think. Morris.
Finally, Morris's documents are ready.
We're all done. That's you. Well done.
Great. Thanks for your help, anyway.
You're very welcome. Safe trip home.
Yeah,
All
muchas
right.
gracias.
Do know that. Bye. Another happy customer. My top tip would be keep your wits about you and get a bag with a zip. If you've got a man bag, get a man bag with a zip. Quite trendy these days for metrosexual men.
Historically, Barcelona has been the pickpocketing centre of Spain. But over the years, dipper gangs have popped up further down the coast to work pastures new.
The Brits abroad, they are easy targets. But at night time, it gets worse for them. When they get loud, they get drunk, they become easy targets. And one thing that does stick out is they always carry a lot of cash.
In the summer months, Benidorm can take on the nickname Mini Britain, with hordes of Brits flying in. And waiting for them are the pickpockets, ready to take advantage of the happy, the tired, and the worse for drink. Here, seen in another popular Spanish resort, a pickpocket lifts a drunk victim's wallet and offloads it to his accomplice behind. Realising he's been had, the victim confronts the pickpocket, leaving the accomplice to take the cash and dump the wallet. Job done. Charged with protecting the Brits at night is Sergeant Enrique, who leads an undercover team that targets the pickpocket gangs.
Now we are in the center of British area. This is the main road in this area. This is Mallorca Street. And we find here some drunk people, the perfect victim for the pickpockets.
Victims here tend to match a particular profile.
Listen, Mike. Listen, Mike. Listen. Okay, I'm police officer. Okay, I'm police officer. Stand up, please. Stand up. Stand up. Please, save your mobile phone. Okay, maybe you can be stolen. Okay. Be safe in your wallet. Okay. There are many people. Okay.
As the night wears on, Couples move down to the beach for some getting-to-know-you time. But they're not alone, because dangers lurk under the sun loungers. So it's not only the strip that's on Enrique's patrol route.
The people come here to the beach from the British area, come here to the beach to have sex or to have a swim, and the pickpockets are waiting.
As the couples get amorous on the beach, a particular breed of pickpocket is waiting to prey on the unwary.
So the reptile is a particular sneaky pickpocket, and he will target you whilst you're having sex on the beach.
These cheeky pickpockets have reached an all-time low.
This little trick is called the reptile. It doesn't require any distraction, but it does require a lot of patience and extreme stealth. Step one, I'm looking for my victims, and there they are now. They're in the throes of passion, and they've forgotten all about their bag. Step two, I pretend to enjoy the scenery, but I'm actually eyeing up their bag. Step three, I sit down and wait for the passion to heat up. Step four, as the passion reaches its peak, I perform the reptile. It's all in the elbows.
Back in Benidorm, this skinny dipper has just left her valuables on a sun lounger. And this reptile is waiting for his break. Keeping one eye on the oblivious bather, he slips out from under the sun loungers, helps himself to all the goods, and slithers back under his rock. With the full moon shining, this woman's belongings are there for the taking. The reptile pokes his head out to check the coast is clear. This time he's too slow, pipped at the post. Here we join the action at its climax. No stealth necessary this time. But with the cab fare gone, at least this victim can start the long walk home. Coming up, the carjackers who target the tourists on the road.
They've got the cash, the cameras, the bling, it's all in the hired car.
How a footballer's name can spell disaster for an unwary tourist.
Whoa!
And one expat who's fighting back against the pickpockets on the metro.
Doesn't mean that I'm a vigilante, it's just an ordinary person fed up with what's going on.
For many British tourists arriving in Spain, the first experience of the holiday is collecting the hire car. But getting from the airport to your hotel without being ripped off is not as easy as it seems.
The gangs in Spain are quick to learn. They soon realise that all the tourists leaving the airport have got all the gear in one place. They've got the cash, the cameras, the bling, it's all in the hired car.
The AP7 motorway follows the east coast of Spain and claimed 140 British tourists who were victims of carjacking last year. Here, a carjacking is captured by a Mossos police CCTV unit. The carjackers in the front car have persuaded the rear car to pull over and convince everyone to get out and look at the rear wheel. Whilst the holidaymakers are distracted, a second pickpocket pilfers the belongings in the front seat of the car. Bag nabbed, they make a speedy exit. On the AP7, an undercover police team are on the trail of a gang of suspect carjackers.
¿Es el C4 el suyo?
Sergeant Geordie and the team are on the lookout for a Seat Leon. It's the car here in the fast lane.
Acabem de detectar un cotxe d'agent de l'est, delinqüents de l'est, que són habituals dintre de l'autopista. Llavors és un cotxe de lloguer, conegut per nosaltres, i ara anem a fer un seguiment.
Now, they can only wait and see if they make a move. The carjackers use every trick in the book. Here, they use a woman as bait to entice a group of female tourists out of their car. The trusting holidaymaker gets out, unsure of what's going on. As she's being distracted, the carjackers reverse and get right up close to the car behind, enabling a quicker getaway. A second man sneaks out and gets into the front of the hire car, unaware there's another passenger inside. Meanwhile, the carjacker pulls out onto the highway so he can make a swift getaway. This gang were not only guilty of bag snatching, but also a bit of dangerous driving to boot.
Joder, puta. Jo crec que ens acaben de detectar.
It looks like the gang has spotted the police tail as they make a move to pull off the motorway.
Igual és adequat agafar la següent sortida.
It's time to make a stop.
Vaig a coquear ràpid, ¿vale? Que estem en un mal lloc. Vinga.
Records show the police were right to have their suspicions.
Si aquestes persones són habituals, penseu que aquesta persona d'aquí enmig porta més de 90 detencions únicament pel nostre cos policial.
¿Alguna vez han cometido un hurto, un robo? Sí, sí han hecho robo alguna vez.
The driver of the car does not have a valid driving license, so the car is impounded. But with no incriminating evidence this time, the police have to let the men go. Of the 1.5 million British tourists arriving in Spain in just 1 month this summer, many will take their first venture out after dark. Wide-eyed, excited, and sometimes the worse for drink, they become vulnerable to a host of nighttime thieves.
The pickpockets can sniff out the first-nighters. The guard's down, they're overexcited, and the pockets are full of cash.
In Barcelona, it's the night of the San Juan festival. The beaches are packed with thousands of revelers, including tanked-up Brits and the opportunist dipper.
You're not going to miss this. This is big payday if you're a pickpocket.
Amongst the partygoers are British expat brothers Matt and Dan.
If you walk by here at 5 o'clock this morning, how many people that are going to be here asleep on the beach, and they'll wake up, they'll have nothing on them, no keys, no wallet, no phone.
Some people have this experience every year. Oh, I got robbed last year. Yeah, I got robbed this year again.
As the night rolls on, the pickpockets start their underhand work. This man in the striped t-shirt seems to be shuffling with a bag in front of him. He pulls out what looks like a mobile phone and slyly tucks it under a coat to his left. As the bather comes out of the sea, the man scoops up the coat and both him and the mobile phone disappear. Here, the man in white slides up to a bag. Luckily, the bag's owner spots him. The Barcelona dippers work the beach night and day. Some of the more wary expats have devised their own anti-bag snatching technique for the beach.
I'm on Barcelona Beach, and I'm going to show you the best anti-theft tip. It's called the Peacock. Step 1, move your valuables in front of your towel. Step 2, always face your valuables. Step 3, walk backwards into the sea. Step 4, I then perform the peacock. It's all about bravado. Hands on hips, chest out, foot forward, as if to say, touch my stuff and I'll be having you.
You may have survived the beach, but the alleyways of Barcelona hold more potential dangers. They're home to a cunning trick that plays on the universal love for the local football team and is named after one of the club's greatest stars, Ronaldinho.
The more inebriated the victim is, the better.
The better.
Yeah, a guy would come up to you and be like, "Oh, you like football? You like football? Hey, Ronaldinho, 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 hey, Ronaldinho, hey, hey." And I'm like, whoa. And he's already got my phone, he's got my wallet, whatever.
Here on this side street, you can see the Ronaldinho in action. 3 men are apparently playing football. Then a man in a white shirt appears who becomes the target. The pickpocket chases the man down and tries to engage him in football banter. And here comes the Ronaldinho step-over. But the man in the white shirt is wise to it and keeps him at arm's length. This time the target escapes with his wallet intact. So your wallet has survived the pickpockets on the beach, you've dodged the Ronaldinho. But there's always one final obstacle that can catch you out on your way home.
If you want, you can find a prostitute in this corner. Do you see, with yellow shirt and black trousers? She's a prostitute, but sometimes pickpocket.
These girls target lone, drunk males as they stagger back to their hotels and appear to be after the money without added extras. This chap has attracted the attention of 2 ladies who look to be helping him back to his apartment. Instead, after a brief distraction, they're helping themselves to his cash. Easy. A new day, and a regular face is back out at work. Lei Caravan, the Romanian pickpocket caught at the Olympic Stadium, is amongst the crowds of tourists at the Plaza de Cathedral. Lei seems quite relaxed as he goes about his business, even after spotting our camera. In plain sight, he eases in next to a black handbag and cops a feel. A bit too heavy-handed, so Lei moves on.
In Spain, a pickpocket will not be given a prison sentence for an attempted dip. So it's worthwhile sticking around to have another go without worrying about who's watching you.
Lei has spotted another tourist with another bag. Can he get inside this one? Clearly not. So will it be a case of third time lucky? The map comes up on top of the bag. And his mischievous fingers go to work underneath. He's busted.
Do you want to tell me what you're doing? Are you a pickpocket?
For the average tourist, being hit by the dippers is hopefully a once-a-holiday experience. But for the British expats, there is growing frustration in seeing the same pickpockets return to work again and again and again.
It's so common to see someone be actually caught for robbing and then to be back on the streets within an hour or two doing the same crime and rearrested for the same crime. I'd say angry and frustrated are the two good descriptions of how you feel when you have this continually happening around you.
One expat in particular has had enough.
My friends, when they've been to visit me in Barcelona, have been robbed. My parents have been robbed. My colleagues from work have been robbed, and that's really sad that friends and family come to Barcelona and that happens to them.
He doesn't want the pickpockets knowing his real name, so goes by the pseudonym Sean.
It's got to a point where it was so bad that we were thinking, well, we could leave Barcelona for that reason.
He has come up with his own way of dealing with the problem. This is Sean's footage. He now films the pickpockets on his mobile phone on his way to work every morning.
The main motivation for taking photos and video is it's a way of channeling an anger and a frustration at what's going on. And sometimes the act of filming, when they can see that you're filming, sometimes is enough in itself for them to stop what's happening and for them to try and disappear out of this situation.
Sean has come in for a fair bit of abuse for his novel, if slightly eccentric, approach to the pickpockets.
And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sitting on the bench who have spotted me. ¿Quieres hablar sobre el problema de carteristas en Barcelona? ¿Quieres hablar sobre el problema de carteristas? ¿Este mapa es porque eres turista o porque eres carterista?
Tú eres estos maníacos sexuales.
¿Eh?
Tú eres un maníaco sexuales, eso es. ¿Sabes?
One particularly cunning technique witnessed by Sean is known as La Mancha. In English, the stain. La Mancha relies on a team of 3 thieves to outwit the victim. The first thief deposits a mark on the victim's back or shoulder. A so-called passerby points out the stain, and the man puts his bag down on the floor to investigate. While he's distracted, a third man sneaks in and makes off with his bag. Here, on this CCTV, a backpacker is the victim. The man in the white t-shirt deposits a mark on the backpacker's shoulder. Thief number 2 moves in to distract her. And an unseen third man helps himself to her laptop. Despite the abuse he receives, Sean believes his actions are justified and doesn't plan to end his campaign any day soon.
The fact that I've witnessed too much for my own liking in Barcelona and taken photos or rung the police or stopped what's happening on several occasions doesn't mean that I'm a vigilante or anything like that. It's just an ordinary person living in Barcelona, fed up with what's going on.
Coming up, a new initiative on the metro is getting results. The Kosovan is caught bag snatching.
He can be arrested at the end.
And as Danny offers words of wisdom to the tourists,
it's very bad for pickpockets here, really bad.
There's a warning for the UK.
A lot of pickpockets say that they want to go to London.
Hi, girls. Do you speak English?
It's Saturday afternoon in Barcelona, and Danny, Mike and Pete are back out on Dipper Patrol.
Someone will come and they will talk to you here, blah, 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 and then they will take the bag, OK? So please move it forward. Enjoy, girls. Bye-bye. They were French, and I'm not. I think they just thought I'd come to have a perv at them.
The beaches and alleyways of Barcelona will always be prime locations for the pickpockets. But there's one other place favoured by the gangs. Underground.
There's more thieves than ever before on the metros. You just got so many people in a small space.
And balancing bags and belongings at the ticket office requires you to have eyes in the back of your head. This CCTV is showing a victim at the ticket office window. He has left his luggage unattended. A team of 3 thieves come in, and 2 block the view of the customers at the windows, while a third swaps over an empty rucksack for the victim's bag full of goodies. With 150 pickpockets working the metro daily, the Mossos police have launched an initiative called Operation Chacha. to target the dippers.
¿Te has visto? Sí. Hay dos bosnias, ¿vale? Vamos a ir a la otra andana.
Undercover police officer David is after 2 female suspects on the red line at Erkinauna station.
Vamos a hacer el cambio, espera un segundo.
He's looking for these women who don't take too kindly to being filmed.
Ask them why they're down here, why they're just staying on the platforms.
For the police, it's a race to get to the platform before the next train leaves. Fortunately, they don't get on the train.
Están ahí. Están ahí aún. Una lleva un sombrero blanco. ¿Vale?
This group of suspected pickpockets are well known to Officer David.
I see 2 Bosnians pickpocket in this platform. We wait the next train. Maybe can see when they begin to robbery.
Pickpockets target passengers during the hustle and bustle of getting on and off trains. It's an easy excuse to bump into someone, and it disguises the theft. Off camera, PC David spots an attempted dip and springs into action. He detains 3 women.
Poneros ahí. ¿Llevas algo? ¿Llevas algo? ¿Llevas algo en la cartera?
Result, a wallet.
These 3 persons go inside the metro, and the last moment outside with this wallet in this position. Good. I have got a credit card with the name of the victim, 80 euros. You have the victim, photocopy, Germany.
It's a small success for Operation Cha-Cha. These 3 are thrown out of the station and told to go home. The girls try to head back to the metro, but not before Sergeant David points them in the right direction. To the exit. Repeat offenders see pickpocketing as a way of life. They can earn between 20 and 60,000 euros a year.
So if you're taking on that kind of cash, it's very lucrative. Why not be a pickpocket?
Tonight, Operation Cha-Cha may have scored a success against 1 repeat offender.
Well, the pickpockets are one man that I have been following him 4 times this week.
The last time we met this man, he'd been detained as a suspected carjacker. He's finally been caught with an accomplice for a bag snatch on the metro. And this time, his luck may be out.
Those 2 men was taking the bag from this man with, I don't know what it has inside, but I think it's more than 400 euros, so they will be arrested.
Dicen que sí, que eres carterista, que has robado. Sí, ¿no?
Cartera mai.
No, carteras no. ¿Y bolsas grandes?
Bolsa, cualquier vez sí.
Otra vez, hoy no.
Cualquier vez.
The stolen bag contains a laptop, passport and 3 mobile phones. The total value of the goods is more than 400 euros, so Operation Cha-Cha can notch up another hit by removing 1 more repeat offender from the streets.
He can be arrested at the end. I'm happy for that.
Out on the Ramblas, Danny and Mike have an evening off from the rickshaws. Though their other job never seems to end.
Have a word there, Mike. Say, look. Excuse me there, mate. You might want to be careful with your bag here. Put your bag inside. It's very bad for pickpockets here. Really bad. Them guys see the fucking camera, innit? Yeah. See the 2 guys get off then?
Yeah, like fuck.
See them 2 guys?
You fucking liked it.
Straight down the fucking street.
But Danny and Mike remain philosophical about the impact they can have on the pickpockets.
It's nice being a good Samaritan with my little rickshaw, riding around, waving at people. Rickshaw girls, ring, 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 you're getting robbed.
With the East European gangs able to move quickly and easily across national boundaries, There is only so much anyone can do to contain the problem.
When the borders have been opened up here in Spain to the Eastern Europeans, there's been a big influx of people who've come in from those places to do crime. So there's a risk that a similar thing could happen in the UK.
The UK has much stricter laws concerning pickpockets. An attempted theft can get you a 3 to 6 month prison sentence. But Britain can't be complacent.
They're obviously travelling from one city to another city to another city. Once things get a bit too hot in one place, then they move to another place where they're not recognised.
London is the biggest tourist centre in Europe. And with cheap, short flights, it's a tempting prospect for the dipper gangs based in Spain.
A lot of pickpockets say that they want to go to London because in London there are a lot of tourists too, more people to try to stall to the tourists.
Where's Mike's bike?
Of course, wherever you are in the world, the pickpockets do have their standards.
Would you look at that? I've still got a bike.
To be honest though, Mike, it's not very robbable really, is it?
Well, there's another thing. Don't get a very, very nice bike.